103, 5 Lincoln 102, Lincoln 103 and 102.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
Henry 8, Henry 9. Respond to gate 437 Bravo for your dignitary detail. 3K 911 unattended 400 lower level near Carousel 4 Black Bag. GPA in progress 401 parking structure section 4 boy.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
415 passenger onboard aircraft.
Control 2 Franklin and around.
484 suspect, is female, Hispanic, 28 years of age, blue jeans, no further.
Control 5 Frank 401 is en route.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio, our first show of 2021. Woo! Brand new year, brand new you, a brand new opportunity, page turn, new chapter. Here we are all together on the first show of 2021 with so much to share, so much to talk about. We're not picking up where we left off. We're already began in 2020, preparing for what 2021 is going to be. Put aside all of the politics, put aside all of the pandemic. Unfortunately, those things are still with us. We thought we would shed them along the way as we went from one year into the next, but it didn't happen. But guess what? We still have a brand new year kicking off. We have a brand new opportunity to do more, do better, be better, make more, and have a great year. And that's what we're going to do here at Private Officer International and at Armour College. We are so glad that you're with us. I'm your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer International, Armour College, and a number of other companies. I'm here today because you're there. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this radio program. We wouldn't have our organizations, our businesses. And as I said, going out the last few hours of 2020, thank you. Thank you for being a supporter. Thank you for being a member of the association, a student of the school, an advertiser. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. We hope that you had a great Christmas. And really, we really want you to have a even greater New Year. We have so many friends, social media, platform friends, members, students, business partners, clients, customers. We just are blessed, and we want you to be as well. So that's the way we're kicking off this radio show. A lot we want to talk about, of course, a lot happening. Unfortunately, quite a bit of tragedy to be part of that, but we have a lot of things to celebrate, and we're going to kick off this radio program with the positives first, and then, unfortunately, we'll have to bring it back down to the realities of our time and our world. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio. We recently announced the recipients of the 2020 awards, COVID awards, as well as the 2020 annual officer awards. And we had a substantial number of recipients this year here in the U.S. and several other countries. And in 2020, we were able to bestow upon individuals recognition. And not only did we present certificates and plaques, uniform award bars, we also gave away hundreds of free Private Officer International memberships and free training courses, as well as giving these recipients several benefits, including having them be recognized through their own local media. We released press releases. We issued press releases to the individuals who were recipients. And if you are a recipient anytime of our awards, make sure that we are including a press release for you and that you contact your local media, your newspapers and TVs, because this is good stuff for you, for your company. If you're a business owner, it's great to be recognized not only for the things that you do for money, but things that you do out of the ordinary. And certainly being on the front line during a pandemic is unusual and above and beyond. And many times our employees go above and beyond. They do a lot more than just observe and report, and we want to recognize them as well, for sure. This past year, 2020, has been horrific in many, many ways, but it's also been a good year because people stepped up and they did more than they had to. And, if your company is one of those businesses on the front line, if your employees have been out there, we still want to recognize them for going above and beyond. If your employees get promoted, if they get recognized by clients in any way, if there's a letter of commendation, make sure that we're aware of this so that we can put this in our news. And we also want to recognize them with an award as well. Contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com, helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Our sister company, Armor College, this past year also got involved by lowering tuition prices unseen and unheard of, and offering 2-for-1 deals. In fact, right now you can get 2 courses at armorcollege.org for the price of 1. And we just recently seen one of our local competitors. This is a local community college who offered buy one, get one free. Never seen this before, never heard of them doing this. We've been here for a long time. They all of a sudden, I bet they got wind of what we've been doing for the last few months, and they decided, why not? This is a good time to increase revenue. This is a good time to help students. This is a good time to step forward and make this type of offer. So they're even now offering 2-for-1, and kind of probably as part of our competition locally, probably saw us do it, and that's why they stepped up. So if you need, if you want, if you, this is the right time for you to get more certifications, more training, go to armorcollege.org. Contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com if you have any questions. And this year we're going to be hiring a lot. And of course, if you're a POI member, we're going to give you preference. If you are a student of Armor and you've got certifications, we're going to give you preference. Really, there's just every type of benefit possible to do training, both online and in person. Obviously, during the COVID situation, we've had to restrict a lot of the practical, hands-on, tactile type training, but we're still doing a lot of training online, and we also are doing some minimal classroom training throughout the country and at our schools. And again, contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. I give you that kind of as a point of contact rather than give you all these other email addresses and phone numbers of 15 different people. This is, monitored help desk all the time, 7 days a week. So they're going to get your email. They will distribute it to the right person at the right company and get that information out for you. And we recently asked on our social media, as well as to all of our followers, all of our members, and those that are part of our email database, we recently asked them to chime in, to give us their opinions about what they'd like to see different this coming year. What type of benefit or service can we help the community with? What type of benefit can we help our members with? We're always adding benefits. We're always adding new services, even to non-members. And a number of people did take advantage, and they did send us some information that we're looking into. And one of those things that we're looking into is starting our own community again. We used to have an online community that was very active for about 10 years. It was called NING, N-I-N-G. Many of you were part of that. Many of you participated in the many different rooms and topics and different things that it had. But toward the end, there wasn't a lot of participation. We were paying for this. It wasn't a free platform. We tried to explain to people repeatedly that this was not something that was free. We were actually paying a fee, a user fee, and we are contemplating, that was one of the things that was suggested last week, that we bring this platform back, that we bring this community back. We are looking at that very seriously, and if we do decide to bring it back, it'll be February 1st. But, you know, this is going to have to be a combined effort. Everyone who's a listener, a member, a follower, a social media friend, you need to get involved, because if we go through, it's not only a cost issue, it's a time issue. We have to set it up. We have to administrate it. We have to oversee it. We have to read the posts. Want to make sure that there's no inappropriate words or conversations and no threats. So we have to have people overseeing it 24/7, and that's a costly venture for us. And so that's one of the considerations that we have as to whether or not to start it. One of the other things that we definitely are starting is once a month we're going to have a community call-in session where you, whether you're a member or a non-member, will be able to call in to our conference line and talk about what's happening in your community and talk about what's on your mind. As long as you keep it, you know, non-vulgar and no threats, we'll exchange a lot of information. In fact, we're calling it the Community Exchange. And so it'll give you another opportunity, another platform to get involved with other members and other people who work in not only the security industry, but law enforcement, loss prevention, and so on and so forth. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got some unfortunate breaking news that we do want to discuss with you, a lot more information, and of course, we do have a training topic of sorts. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio.
For some children, America isn't the land of promise. It's a place where every day is a struggle. Because today in America, 1 in 6 children lives below the poverty line. For these children, living in poverty means going without medicine, going without food, going without a warm home, or even a roof over your head. And that's life for nearly 13 million children of all races, all across America. Where will you draw the line and get involved? You can help these children and their families find a way out of poverty for good. And you can make a difference in more ways than you think. Will you help? Go to povertyusa.org today. Because 1 in 6 children in poverty is one too many. A message from the Catholic Campaign for Human Development.
Slow down.
And move over. When you see lights, vest,
or reflectors, please give us some room. Slow down.
And move over.
We look out for you, so look out for us. Please.
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 Slow down. And move over.
It's the law.
It's the law. It's the law.
Body Armor USA.com. We've got what it takes to protect you. Whether you're looking for protective clothing, body armor, slash-resistant vest, gloves, hey, we have it all. Call our buddy Ben over at 516-817-1666. That's area code 516-817-1666. Or check them out online, bodyarmorusa.com. We've got what it takes to protect you. They're a great bunch of people over there. If they don't have it, they'll find it, they'll get it, they'll help you in any way they can. BodyArmorUSA.com. unfortunately, as great as we want to pump up things for the new year and talk about all of the positives, and that's one of the things that we do sometimes get comments about. In fact, last week when we asked people their opinions, of course, some people gave us their negative aspect of our business. Why don't you make things more positive? Why don't you publicize more positive news articles about security? Why don't you da-da-da-da-da? We'd love to. We invite you to send us an email at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, with any positive news that you have about the industry, loss prevention, bail enforcement, private security, public safety, school security. We're going to publicize it. We're going to recognize those people involved. We want to recognize them. For the last 17 years, we have recognized hundreds, thousands probably, over the course of the life of our association and organization. But unfortunately, as you know, dark can oftentimes overshadow light, and there's so much negative out there. We don't pick and choose. We publicize the news as it is. We don't make it up. We publicize the news as it is, and we try to make things better. We try to train people better. We try to communicate with people and show them right from wrong. We try to give them the right avenues to go down, but they, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them. So positively, we are here to show the positive side of private security, but it's up to them to bring that information forward. But unfortunately, we do have some negative news. Over the weekend in Sterling, Virginia, which is Loudoun County, Northern Virginia, in the very upscale area, 2 Walmart loss prevention agents were shot, and one is in critical condition, along with a deputy sheriff that was also shot. This all started as a shoplifting situation. LP agents confronted a suspected shoplifter. They called law enforcement. Deputies arrived. When they tried to place the man into custody, he pulled a gun and he began firing at them, hitting 2 LP agents and a deputy sheriff. The man was shot on the way, fleeing from the store, by a deputy sheriff, but he managed to escape. He carjacked somebody, he escaped, and in the neighboring county, Fairfax County, also upscale Northern Virginia, law enforcement did apprehend that suspect, so he is in custody. Right now, we don't know if the condition of the deputy and the LP agents have been upgraded or updated. We're trying to find out even as we speak. Our office is going through the channels to do that. We are, of course, passing along our prayers and condolences and good thoughts, because this is actually the second time in just a couple of weeks that an LP agent was shot from Walmart. An LP agent in Georgia was shot approaching a shoplifter, and he was hospitalized. And we told you his story a few weeks ago, that he really said, well, I hope that the suspect makes better choices in the future. And he had no ill will against the suspect. I'm not sure I could forgive him. I'm sure I could forgive him. I'm not sure that I would just say, oh, yeah, I just hope that he becomes a millionaire tomorrow. I would not really, I think the LP agent in that situation really went above and beyond. And, anyways, everyone's going to handle things differently, of course. We all have different personalities. But as far as the shooting in Sterling, Virginia, Loudoun County, we are keeping track of this, and we'll bring you more news about it as soon as we have it, possibly even before we go off the air. 8 security officers have been shot during the week of Christmas. 8. One was murdered. Another one was stabbed in Philadelphia, very serious condition, but is expected to survive. This has not been, as we said several times during 2020, this has not been a season of relaxation. This has not been a year of, oh, the stores are closed, the restaurants are closed, the malls are not busy, nobody's out and about because of the pandemic. So we can let our guards down. We can just relax. It's not going to be any big deal. We're just going to be visible, observe, and report. It wasn't that type of year. Unfortunately, it was not that type of year. 327 security officers died in 2020. Not all from COVID. Not all from some type of disease. In fact, there were 71 non-COVID deaths of security officers that, for the most part, was homicides, tragic homicides. 256 security officers died from COVID. 71 died of other things, attacks, murders. You know, it's not been a good year for law enforcement either. 304 police officers, according to the Officer Down Memorial page, died in the line of duty during 2020. Of those, 186 was from COVID. 118 other incidents, many of them homicides. As we look across the country, from coast to coast, we see crime is spiking. Homicides are up substantially. Places like New York, Atlanta, LA, and other places are seeing all-time records of homicide. Violent crimes, hate crimes, crimes against persons, including robbery and theft. Unbelievable numbers coming out. Wait until probably mid-January when all the real numbers are there, and you'll get a better understanding and a bigger picture of what type of year this was. People have a tendency of taking advantage of situations, and that's when we let our guards down. Oh, yeah, it's not going to be anything. I don't got to worry. You do have to worry. You do have to worry. Did you know that when areas where there's snow, those areas, when they have snowstorms and everything's shut down quiet, do you know that's when the burglars go out and they hit all the stores? Oh, yeah, they know there's no traffic. The police can't even drive around. There's lots of snow. Blah, blah, blah. They go out and they hit these places, schools, businesses. They make off like big-time bandits. I, for one, know not to let my guard down, not to expect criminals to take time off, regardless of what's happening. Look at all the protests, all the riots that happened during 2020. Even with COVID happening, even with pandemics, even with hundreds of thousands ill and deaths, it didn't stop them from coming out and protesting and rioting. No. It doesn't stop the criminal. Very little stops the criminal. Even when you lock them up, even when they're incarcerated, you're not stopping the criminal. How many times have I read the news to you in the last 17 years about criminals operating inside the jail? Just 2 weeks ago, before we ended our last show of 2020, I told you about a guy in state prison who made millions of dollars through scandals and fraud because he had illegal cell phones and he was able to do really, really, really big-time fraudulent activity. In 2020, unfortunately, criminals took advantage of less police, of police out on the riot line and not able to respond to calls within their own jurisdiction. Criminals took advantage of poorly trained, under-trained, under-equipped, unarmed security officers just out trying to do their job, trying to make a living and support their family. And they're going to do it this year in 2021. They already have. They already have. If we're going to make a difference, if we're going to protect ourselves while trying to do our job, we have to start off this year with some, I don't want to call them New Year's resolutions per se, but with some very strict commitment to protecting ourselves while trying to protect others. It all comes with, your commitment. Unfortunately, people in many different professions, they're not committed to the job. They're not committed to the profession. They just need a paycheck, And what they don't realize is sloppy work oftentimes leads to injuries and death, and that includes for the private security industry. It is a very, very unfortunate situation. But we see this happening more times than not. Premier Training Academy in Charlotte, North Carolina, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in Charlotte. We've got training for you if you're looking for unarmed or armed North Carolina security officer training. If you're looking for the South Carolina SLED training, we have that too. First aid and CPR. Contact our friend John at 704-806-4933. That's area code 704-806-4933. Premier Training Academy. Find them online at PremierTrainingAcademyUSA.com. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, you're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector right here on the Private Officer Radio Network. Now don't go away because we are coming right back when we've got a whole lot more right here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Hi everyone, did you know that one organ donor can save up to 8 lives? The need for organ donors now is greater than ever. 120,000 people right now in the U.S. are waiting for an organ transplant. 95% of Americans support organ donation, but only a little over half are registered. My charity, Health Corps, has teamed up with Donate Life and Organize.org to save up to 500,000 lives by getting 62,500 folks to register as organ donors. If you're not registered, click the Register Now link to stand up and be counted. And when you're done, go on Facebook and tell us your story and add my hashtag #OrgansWill. For example, you might say, hashtag organs will make a difference. I'm an organ donor. Are you?
I met Luke when I was pretty much born. We kind of just grew up together. He got his license when he was 16. We were going to the beach, and Luke was driving. I was in the passenger seat. And all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. I wasn't conscious for it. We got hit by a drunk driver. I feel like I knew right away that it was never going to be the same. I don't know. The doctors, they were telling me I was so lucky to be alive. When I found out that he died on impact, I didn't really feel lucky. And sometimes I still don't. Drinking and driving is completely unnecessary, and I think it's selfish if you do it. It's not worth taking that risk, because you never know what's going to happen.
Welcome back to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio for this January 4, 2021. We told you last year, wow, that was a long time ago last year. We told you last year that for POI members, we're going to offer you a month's free advertising. You can market your service, your company. You can advertise your business for free. We'll put an ad on our website. We'll sponsor you on our radio shows. We'll put you on all of our social media platforms absolutely free for 30 days as our way of showing appreciation for your membership and for your support as a member. Contact Helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Remember, you must be a member of the association in good standing. Well, there is a lot of other things that we want to talk about in this radio program. We definitely have a lot of news that we want to bring up. We want to talk about, for a few minutes, training topics. But we want to make sure that in our first program of the year, that we're all on the same page and that you understand that as a private security officer, a loss prevention, a private police officer, that we all have to work together. I just had this conversation yesterday with a police officer in Virginia. Even police agencies don't get along sometimes. Sometimes it's because of something the police chief said, the sheriff said. Sometimes it's because of something that a canine officer did or detective. In talking with security company owners over the last 6 months, we have all agreed on one thing, and that is this time, in this day and age, in this particular area of the history of our country, of the security industry, now more than ever, we have to cooperate and really understand that it's not about competition. It's not about who got what contract and he stole it from me. I've been in the security business for a long time. I know that people do some pretty outrageous things to get a contract or to steal business from you. Some of it's underhanded, some of it's unethical, all of that. But when it comes down to assisting each other, this year I want you to make a commitment. I'm going to do my best within the law to aid and assist my brethren on the front line. If I have to cross the street into another property to help another security officer who's getting his butt beat, I'll do it. I talked to a friend of mine who owns a security company in California, actually, and he told me that it's in his contract that if a security officer hears of another security officer from another company nearby needing assistance, that he can leave and go and assist them, back them up. Right now, we need each other. We need to be able to forget what company we work for, forget what agency we work for, forget whether or not they're proprietary, contract, private police, or public police. We need to back each other up. I'm very proud every time I see a news article where a civilian has stopped to aid law enforcement who is in a fight for his life. What we don't realize is that private security officers often face the same situation, and every once in a while we see civilians coming to the aid of security officers. We just saw this over the Christmas holidays where mall security was battling 3 suspects that was involved in shoplifting, that was beating up on a mall security officer, a civilian who was a concealed weapons permit holder. He pulled his firearm. He didn't shoot anybody, but those 3 individuals who was attacking security, they took off real quick. No questions, no hesitations. Woo, I'm out of here. That's what it's going to take. We need to back each other up. We need to support each other in every possible way, but especially when one of us is under attack. I know it doesn't sit well. We've talked about this many times over the years. It doesn't sit well with some security company owners because of liability, insurance, all of that. I don't know about you. I don't care if I get fired because I'm going to help somebody who might be killed or might have the crap beat out of them. It's worth it. I'm going to help. As I get older, I think about this situation pretty often, actually. I see where civilians stop to assist police. And being a law enforcement officer and a security company owner and businessman and getting older, I have to think myself, would I still do this? I mean, I could really get hurt or even killed now more than even in my earlier days. And the answer still is yes, I still would. It's something that each and every one of us has to think about. What are we willing to do? Are we willing to put our own life on the line for another law enforcement or security officer? Well, every day we put our lives on the line to protect our customers, don't we? Every day we go out there, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who we're going to run into, who's going to attack us, who's going to fight us. And yet we do it for minimal pay sometimes. This year, 2021, we have to be committed to helping each other. We have to. Police are not going to be there. Many police departments are understaffed, and they're not going to be up to staffing anytime soon. Some police departments have canceled several academies in the last year. They're not hiring. and those that are hiring can't recruit enough people because people don't want the job. Many people don't want the police job anymore. In this industry that we work in, whether we're campus security or mall security or LP or contract security, we have to depend on each other. I think it's time that we contact our neighboring companies and maybe make a pact of some type so that we can be there to assist each other. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, plenty of news to talk about, and you're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio.
A crisis, everybody. Now, most of you have seen me wearing my signature mask on a plane. I love wearing it when I fly. I tend to get my own row 99% of the time. It's simple. Just wear the mask and cough. Because who wants to sit next to this guy? I don't blame you. And I went from being the only one on a plane wearing a mask to now everybody is doing it. Out in public, the park, at the mall, at the post office, with their girlfriend, with their husband, with their husband's girlfriend. We need to help our doctors, our nurses, and our healthcare workers who are fighting COVID-19 head on. And we need to make sure they don't acquire the virus. These frontliners have been running out of personal protective equipment, PPE. People have asked me, Kayvon, are you down with PPE? Are you down with PPE? Are you down with PPE? I'm like, yeah. You know me. Yeah, you know me. The CDC has been forced to downgrade the need for N95 masks to surgical masks, now down to bandanas because of a lack of supplies. Does this seem like a good idea to you? Hi, I'm your doctor. I'm also here to rob your bank. Bandanas? Scarves? What kind of PPE is that? One more. This is one of the easiest ways you can be a hero. So if you're a healthcare provider in need, or if you have supplies you can donate, there are a lot of groups leading the effort. Start with the PPE Coalition. They're a great resource and they can get you pointed in the right direction. So there you have it. Be a hero, make a donation, and help a frontline healthcare professional. After all, their health right now is in your hands. And while you're at it, watch those too. If you don't, you're disgusting. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, you know me.
This week, there's plenty in the news. It's been a couple of weeks since we've talked about the news or had a radio show because of the Christmas and New Year's holiday, but plenty of things happening. Unfortunately, a number of our security personnel being robbed, carjacked, shot. We just told you about what happened at Walmart in Northern Virginia. In Dayton, Ohio, a 22-year-old man is now sentenced to 19 years in prison. He was convicted of at least 5 armed robberies and shooting a security officer, and now sentenced Maurice Murray 230 months in prison for all of his crimes. A woman in Austin, Texas is under arrest today after chasing a security officer with a knife and then barricading herself inside a vehicle. Austin police say they received a disturbance call at around 1 a.m. on January the 2nd about a woman who was chasing a security officer with a knife on West 2nd Street. When officers arrived, she didn't give up. She was not compliant. She actually jumped into a car and had to be subdued. The security officer was not injured during the event. Security officers at several malls in Albuquerque, New Mexico, had their hands full earlier last year with a group who was hitting high-end stores located at local malls. Police now have made several arrests in those situations. In Waikiki, Hawaii, the community got together and they gifted a Maui security officer for going above and beyond. We talked about this a few weeks ago. The security officer, Anaya Townsend, 22 of Waiakea, he drove his bicycle several hours to return a wallet that he found. And because of that, the community got together. They had raised funds. They had several different events to put money together to buy him a car so that he wouldn't have to bicycle to work every day. That is pretty cool. I like to see those type of things. In Atlanta, Georgia, a very upscale mall there called the Lenox Square Mall, which is very, very popular, but unfortunately has been the victim of multiple shootings in recent years, has added metal detectors and security officers at the front door. They're going to try this out to see how it works among other added security measures. If it works, then they will add the same metal detectors to all of their entrances. Well, I've got news for them. If you put up a metal detector at one door, I'm going through the other door if I'm a criminal with my gun. So are you really preventing anything? I'm not sure about that. In Las Vegas, casino security found a 3-year-old girl, believe it or not, in a woman's restroom who was on purpose left there. Police are still trying to identify the mother of the little 3-year-old girl that was abandoned inside the Wynn Las Vegas casino Tuesday morning. Very sad situation. Security found the 3-year-old, notified police, and eventually she was taken to Child Protective Services. They're currently looking for the mother. A very scary moment. This also in Georgia. A shoplifting turned into an armed robbery Christmas Eve. Police responded to the Macy's store at 4400 Ashford Dunwoody Road in Dunwoody, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. It seems that 3 men were trying to escape when confronted by loss prevention. One of the men pointed a gun in the face of the LP agent. It was all caught on video. Police do have the video. They do have a possible suspect, but no arrest has been made. A man in New York City fled John F. Kennedy, or JFK, International Airport after TSA found a loaded 9mm handgun in his carry-on bag. As soon as they discovered that, the man booked it. TSA agents and Port Authority police tried to stop him. The suspect was eventually caught. That was really a very odd response. Most of the time you get a citation, your gun is confiscated, and you're on your way. In Chattanooga, Tennessee, police there say at the Ultra Beauty Salon or beauty shop where they sell beauty supplies, some women came in and they stole $8,000 worth of merchandise and they escaped. And we see this pretty often at these stores and others where people are just going in and taking arms loads and bags loads of merchandise and nobody is stopping them. One of the security officers that I said earlier was shot in the last week. It happened right here in Arlington, Texas during a disturbance. The security officer was involved inside the Los Lomas apartments. Some type of disturbance broke out. The security officer was shot. He is in stable but good condition. Police did make several arrests there. In North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Sergeant Gordon William Best was killed in a traffic accident during the holiday. Also in the news, Los Angeles council members are moving to arm their park rangers. It seems right now that in the last 4 years in the LA park system, 38 murders, 167 shootings, 267 rapes, and 1,844 assaults across 450 LA parks. Many people may not know this, but in LA, as in many areas of our country, county and state park rangers are actually sworn police officers, peace officers, and the park rangers in LA go through the basic police training academy the same as any officer. They already have the authority to make arrests, but not to carry firearms, but they soon will, according to the councilmen there, as they are changing the laws. Happening in San Juan Capistrano in California, they have a mishmash of law enforcement. They have several agencies that work part-time on patrol. In that community that's growing, they've had an increase of crime. So what they did was they hired a private security company. The private security company will come in called City Guard, and they will patrol all of the downtown areas, some of the parks and parking garages, and they will act not only as eyes and ears, but they will respond to certain types of situations. They are armed, and if it works out, they may even increase that patrol service even further. We are seeing that across the board, across the country, more and more local communities hiring private security, armed and unarmed, to patrol their communities. In Baltimore, Maryland, a police officer is under arrest after he assaulted a person, slamming them to the ground because that person refused to wear a face mask inside a grocery store. Detective Andre Pringle, 45, now faces 10 years in prison for a misdemeanor assault charge because he is a police officer. Police have arrested armed teens who assaulted a security officer in Beverly Hills during one of these snatch and grabs that I just told you about. They hit a Beverly Hills store grabbing armloads of expensive high-end handbags, and when they attempted to flee, they assaulted and pushed to the ground a security officer. A witness was able to get information which helped police to stop them nearby, and they are in custody. In Miami, Florida, a security officer there was involved in the shooting. A person that he got into a confrontation with at the Brick Bar fired several rounds, and the security officer was hit, but is in good condition today. Much more news. Go to our blog every day. It's updated. Private Officer Breaking News.blogspot.com. Private Officer Breaking News.blogspot.com. Or send us an email telling us what type of news you're looking for, or go to privateofficer.org right now, and you can sign up for hot breaking news, officers down reports, and training events. We'll give them to you regularly, not every day, not every hour, not every minute. We're going to give you all the pertinent, hot breaking news right there in your mailbox. Privateofficer.org. Sign up today, no cost. And we'll be right back here at the Private Officer B Radio.
Slow down.
And move over.
When you see lights, vests,
or reflectors, please give us some room. Slow down.
And move over.
We look out for you, so look out for us.
please,
Please.
please.
Slow down. And move over.
It's the law.
It's the law. It's the law.
Coming up this month, January 2021, free online training. We're going to be doing several seminars for POI members exclusively. We may offer this later on to non-members for a nominal fee. Be looking for more information. We'll post it both in emails as well as broadcasted here on the POI radio. Also this month, like I said, we will be looking into having our online community platform again, as well as starting up conference call communities where you can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about, as long as it's legal, reasonable, and, no profanity. So much happening here in the new year. We want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Always contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com if you'd like to recognize one of your employees, community members, law enforcement, or anybody else. We want to recognize them too, so let us know about them. If there's a promotion within your company, if someone has an anniversary in your company, let us know. We can't broadcast out the information. We can't recognize them if we don't know about it. Helpdesk at privateofficer.com. We are seeking supporters to help us financially. If you would like to be a monthly supporter, please contact us again at helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Remember, if you're a POI member, free marketing for your service, your company. Contact who else? Helpdesk at privateofficer.com. We'll put that ad on our web pages, our social media platforms, and, of course, here on the radio show. So much that we have to talk about, so much that we want to bring up, so much that we want to do in the new year, but we can't do it without you. I often say this, you know, so many times you go buy a new restaurant, you go not buy a business, and you go, oh, hey, you know, that looks like a good place to eat. Hey, I think that's a pretty good type of store. I heard they have pretty good food. I heard they do good business, good service, blah, blah, blah. But you never patronize them. A few months down the road, maybe 6 or maybe even 12 months later, they're closed up. Lack of support. Everybody was going to buy there. Everyone was going to eat there. Everyone was going to support their neighborhood small business, but they never get around to it. So they closed up. During the pandemic, tens of thousands of businesses across the country, and unfortunately, even in my own community, store after store, business after business, even those who were well established, been around for a long time, are no longer. If you want us to continue doing what we're doing and bringing you great products, great news, great membership benefits, we need your support now more than ever. It takes us about 100 hours a week just to produce the news alone. It takes us a good 6 hours to go through all the emails that we get. We get about 2,000 plus emails a day. We try to get through every email and answer them personally. We have nobody in India or the Philippines taking our phone calls. We have to answer those too. We have a lot of things happening here that is not being supported financially. If you have a business and you're not a member of POI, we encourage you to advertise with us. We accept advertisement on all of our websites, radio shows, social media platforms, and it's really, really inexpensive compared to other similar platforms, magazines, newsletters, and so forth. Contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. That's going to do it for this edition of the Private Officer Beat. Of course, we've got a lot of other great things that we want to talk about in the upcoming shows this month. We're also going to be kicking off our LP zone, loss prevention zone again, as well as from the legal side. People seem to like that program, so we're going to have more radio shows coming up in the new year. Until then, be blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you back here on the radio.